But there is something clearly wrong with the woman on the right. Not saying that she's not worthy and deserving of love, because she is. But she's unhealthy. She can hardly fit in her freaking shoes. Why on earth would we promote people walking around and looking like this? And it's honestly mean to say that someone is beautiful and all this stuff when it's like we're literally lying to them and making them think that it's okay to be that way when it's really not, because it's hurting their health and it's shortening their lives. If you really care about people, you tell them the truth.
Here's a point-by-point breakdown on why everything that creator said is not okay and wrong. To start, you cannot determine someone's health just by how they look. Someone, thin or fat, could be experiencing suicidal ideation or other mental health struggles, could be addicted to something, could have really high cholesterol or low bone density or too high of a resting heart rate. They might have a chronic illness or other autoimmune disease. Thin people could have type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure. And while no one owes you health, only thin people are assumed to be healthy and thus left alone. But they might not be healthy, and that's fine, especially given our lack of access to affordable, quality healthcare. Also, some people are their healthiest when they're fat. There are a million reasons that people are fat, but some include going on antidepressants and other genetic factors that just mean they have a higher set weight than others might, and now they're finally, for the first time ever, maybe not hyper-restricting anymore. Additionally, just existing in your body isn't promoting anything about your body. So if you think that the woman on the right deserves love and safety and everything else you claim to think, don't you think she also deserves the right to have a job, regardless of what industry that's in, modeling or otherwise? Because the most political thing about fatness being visible in brand campaigns right now is the fact that we haven't seen more of it before, because fat people have always existed and we have discriminated against them. They're just existing. They're not promoting being fat. And finally, the most reliable explanation scientists have right now for what makes fat people less healthy than skinny people is the abuse they undergo. The fact that they are paid tens of thousands of dollars less per year than their straight-sized counterparts, the fact that they're harassed in the street, not being able to find clothing that fits or sit at a restaurant or fit in an MRI machine to get preventative scans that you need. It's the discrimination that makes fat people unhealthy, nothing else. So actually, unsolicitedly telling fat people the cold hard truth, as this creator suggests, makes fat people's health worse.
Do you see? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nerd Chronicles. This is your host, Proud Lane, certified beta male sim man John, whatever it's no game. The sociocultural nerd Christian Paul is up in the building, ladies and gentlemen. And what we will be discussing, ladies and gentlemen, is in regards to the obesity pandemic when it comes to the Western world, right? In this episode of Societal Norms versus Science, we are actually going to dig head on when it comes to obesity and actually give as much thorough information towards its viewers as best as we can. Given these topics, and as we know, ladies and gentlemen, obesity is a huge thing, especially when it comes with recent history, when it comes with the fat acceptance movement, you know, body positivity movement, the whole 9 yards. The whole 9 yards with like people accepting people who they are, people actually trying to live life and how they want to live, and making being overweight or even obese basically like a mainly fad lifestyle, if you will, where you actually come by in the press, where you see up in the Cosmopolitans, where you see up in the Vogues, GQs in some cases. I don't know if actually GQ actually has like a bunch of overweight people at the time of the magazines. I'm not sure. I'll check to make sure. But definitely in Cosmopolitans, you know, definitely other news outlets that talk about, talk about fat phobia mainly, and literally the whole 9 yards. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to try and make something extremely clear. I know a lot of doctors actually basically discuss all these things, and a lot of bodybuilders discuss these things as well. I know for some folks who are overweight and all this other stuff that came by, that were born overweight and mainly raised overweight and haven't even lived the lifestyle that's gone by, there's going to be some things that you may not want to hear. I want to try and be very simplistic on what I'm about to say. Obesity, unfortunately, is a choice, right? You have the freedom of choice whether you want to be skinny, or you have the freedom of choice of whether you want to be obese and fat and basically choose to have like a 600-pound life. Or you can have the choice to literally be fit or actually be more have an active lifestyle where you want to do jogging, running, cross country, calisthenics, weight training, resistance training, however it may be, right? But the information that I will be discussing, I do have some data that actually will approach this. Probably go through some articles as well to have dig into some of my own data into this whole ordeal when it comes with obesity and how big of a problem it is. And when it comes with obesity, the concern why many doctors, and I understand a lot of y'all are probably actually going to call me fat phobic just because I said obesity is a choice in the whole ordeal, but unfortunately it is true because it could be a situation where it could literally be, unfortunately and tragically, life or death. And I want to try and keep it as discreet as I possibly could, and basically try to be as respectful and smooth as I possibly could to try and minimize the triggering. You know what I mean? But when you see doctors come out and they tell you basically try to lose certain pounds, and I understand they have doctors that deal with health at every size, but also take it from a perspective from a dude that worked up in a doctor's office on and off for literally about a decade, working under a nephrologist that mainly studies chronic kidney disease, that deals with dialysis, that deals with kidney failure and diabetes as well as hypertension. Mainly elderly patients, some of which that are overweight, so others that are obese, unfortunately. And they are on dialysis right now as we speak. The obesity way of things, based on my personal opinion, and I don't really want to try and say it's a personal opinion, depending on what goes on, the studies that doctors have actually shown and that have actually shown that it's not a longevity fruit to live. Like, the more pounds you pack, the shorter your life expectancy. Meaning that, like, the organs that come by the blood flow, they will have to actually work twice as harder when they have more pounds that's up in the human body. Way more than they would have like enough dense nutrients to actually try and get themselves fit, so they'll be able to actually pump, like, to have like more of a blood flow in a natural sense. The heart will be working literally twice,
3 times as fast as trying to maintain the body's efficiency if the body is overweight or obese, which could lead to unfortunate risk of hypertension, heart attacks, risk of cardiac arrest. Other ordeals could be cancer, diabetes, heart failure, chronic kidney disease, literally, unfortunately, the whole 9 yards.
And I've actually discussed statistics on heart failure and hypertension as well early on to my channel. I have a playlist for that. You can definitely look into it below if you choose to watch. But it is a serious ordeal. We up in the medical industry, and I've worked in the medical industry for a time as well. I can actually try to relate to what doctors go through. We're not saying these things to be fat phobic in a way, and to actually define what really fat phobic is. Fat phobic is actually the main fear of fat people literally trying to outdo someone else that's actually different, right? Basically restricting someone's freedom of choice on what that fat person chooses to do, or if they do have that freedom of choice, they try to sabotage their growth literally along the way by trying to make a mockery at them. Well, that obese person chooses to make it up to lose the weight, or when actually they have a successful business, that person basically makes fun of him or her because of that. That's basically fat phobia when you're dealing with constant sabotage on a daily basis of that person. When you have a sick obsession of what that person does, or what he or she does, you try to monitor each and every womb in order to find other ways to literally sabotage that person, to literally restrict his or her quality of life, or possibly end his or her quality of life, or maybe, unfortunately, lead her into a tragic demise, which, God forbid, we do not want to see happen, right? The doctors that mainly tell obese patients about these things when it comes to weight, when it comes with diseases, tell them they have to have gastric bypass surgery in order for them to save their lives, in order to actually have like a dramatic weight loss transformation in order to improve their health. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing this just to be fatphobic because they enjoy fat people around their country and company. We enjoy Big Sherlock. We enjoy Big Shirley. We love the fact that they had that energy around them. But our issue is their longevity. Our concern is their longevity literally down the line, because we have seen obese influencers tragically pass away in their 30s, in their 20s, in their 40s, had their lives cut off way too short, right? Through the decision that they made early on up in their years, right? Which is literally a sin and a shame, right? My hope in this, right? And I see what the doctors are really trying to say. They're trying to do everything they can to try and make sure that you have an optimized life moving forward and that you'll be able to literally prolong your life. That's not fat phobia whatsoever. My hope in this is I try to give you as much thorough information, and in the videos to come that you will be seeing as well, I will discuss some practical ways on how to basically how to drop some of the pounds off if you choose, if you choose to, right? If you want to choose to live a more healthy and fruitful life. And also I'm aware of the fact when it comes with newborn mothers, like new mothers coming by, dealing with their pregnancy, dealing with unexpected weight gain, postpartum stress, all that stuff that literally coming by. I'll discuss those things as well on how they can actually get back to once their old selves as well. Because understands when it comes with women and mothers, weight always fluctuates with them, especially when they just got off having children. So I'll definitely will discuss with these things. Exercise, yes, it's simple. You gotta try and exercise to get the pounds off. But when you're dealing with certain types of people, when you're dealing with certain types of mentalities, sometimes with certain folks, you have to try to encourage them. You give them like some small wins, try to have them ease their way in so that they can be more active at the very least, so that they can at least have more endorphins going. To the point where if they're extremely sedentary, and any movement that they actually make when it comes to going down the stairs, even going up the stairs, or having small walks going to place, is a small victory because it produces endorphins up in your system. And we want to make sure that momentum is maintained and make sure that those people don't get discouraged from working out, that those people aren't disrespected, that are not made fun of, so that they'll be able to continue to try to make more gains up in their lives and have more endorphins in their systems, that be able to have more of a confidence to boost up their livelihood, to boost up their well-being. With that, an introduction when it comes to societal norms for society's science on obesity is done. Expect some data coming up into the next clips very, very shortly.
All right, Doc, I'm an ICU doc, and I want to tell you why obesity is such an important risk factor in the intensive care unit. Number one, with obesity, it's much harder to come off a ventilator. Number two, obese patients are more prone to infection. Number three, much more complications when it comes to wound healing. Listen, folks, this is not about fat shaming. It's about what we can do to get y'all healthier to prevent you from seeing me in the ICU. We're talking about tools that are going to get you healthier, moving better, eating better, and feeling better about life. So if you want to hear more tips about how to get healthy, follow along.
Do you see?